Okay, so I started drawing the graph and explaining everything, and it started getting really messy. So then I thought, oh, you know what? This is probably a good opportunity to knock out two birds with one stone. So I was gonna do another one of these videos. So this is the video that one of the other videos that I had recorded earlier that you all are gonna see in a little bit. Um, it's right beneath this second video of the lecture. Okay, so anyways, I might change the order of the videos again and have y'all watch. Never mind. I'll just leave it alone. But anyways, this one, there's a video that explains this one, how to build a simple single within subject line graph. Okay, so how to build this type of a graph. There's a video that's going to show you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another sheet down here, and I'm going to show you how to create the between subjects. Okay, so this one is within subject because it's within one participant. Okay, so we can compare the data paths from baseline to intervention, back to baseline, back to intervention. So if we're looking at more than one student, okay, how do we compare that? Okay, so a lot of the times people will say, well, we can just, add another line. So like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I should have did this ahead of time. Okay, so what some people will say is, let's just add, the data for the second student in here and then have two lines, right? So have two lines graphed. Okay, so if I expand, see how it adds the two lines, right? So that it doesn't make convention as far as for behaviorists like what we do. Now, not to say that there aren't graphs like this. There definitely are graphs that have more than one line in one graph, but they are the same participant. So it's like if we're collecting more than one uh, variable. So like let's say for example, the black line was behaviors of let's say asking questions. So the black line is asking questions, and then the orange line are us looking at maybe time on task. Okay, so this one's measuring time on task. So both of those behaviors are being collected from the same student. Okay, so in the example that we're using, that's not the case. What we're doing is we're comparing within students. Actually, not within, between students. We're comparing between two students, more than one. Okay, so for example, I'm going to put P1 for participant 1 and then participant 2. So we're comparing two students, right? Now the data, okay, for the first student we had 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. And then we had intervention, so I'm going to leave a blank cell. Okay, now we have 10, 15, 14, and then we go back, we return back to baseline, so I'm going to leave another blank cell. So 13, 12, 15, and then we return to intervention, so 16, 14, and then 12. Okay, so this is the data. And remember these blank, if you watch the first video, you'll understand why I'm leaving these cells blank. Okay, that's the change in the phase, because this is baseline, intervention, return to baseline, and then intervention. Okay, so then for participant 2, the data was 4, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so here I'm not going to skip a cell because we're still collecting baseline from this student. Okay, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so now we're going to intervention phase. So it's 10, 11, 12. And then we return back to baseline, so I'm going to leave another blank. 13, 12, 11. Did I forget something? Let's see. 4, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, and then we did experiments 10, 11, 12. Actually, intervention, not experiment. And then 13, 12, 11. Yep, no, that's right. Okay, so the way we're going to graph it is the first one is the same as we did in the last one, and I'm going to go through it really fast. I'm not going to worry so much about the color and getting it perfect exact. I'm just going to show y'all the main ideas of these. Okay, so okay, let me just clean that up a little bit. Okay, so let's do participant 1 first. So we're not going to highlight both pieces of data because we don't want to include 2 different students in the same line graph. Okay, we're going to have actually 2 line graphs, and we're going to compare those because we're comparing between subjects. Okay, so participant 1, and then I'm going to insert a line graph, and I'm going to use this one right here, the line with markers. Okay, so here's the first one. So that's for participant 1. I'm going to get rid of these vertical lines, and then okay, that's good for now. And like again, I'm not going to worry so much about the colors, so I'm going to leave that there. So this is baseline, intervention, return to baseline, and then intervention. Okay, so like I had mentioned a little while ago in the slide, this right here, because we provided the student, we taught him the intervention, he can't unlearn it because we already taught it to him. So this is a cumulative effect. So even though we do return, like we stopped prompting him and we return to baseline, he still is, we still have an effect. So if we would have taken, like if it was maybe like glasses, if glasses were our intervention, yeah, as soon as we take away the glasses and we were measuring like his vision, yeah, of course the behavior is going to come, the behavior variability is going to return lower because that is the type of intervention that would have that type of an effect. But something that's learned, you can't unlearn it, right? You can't unsee something that you've already seen. Okay, so that is the first student. So then what we're going to do, since we're comparing between subjects, we're going to create another one. So I'm going to highlight participant 2's data. I'm going to go to insert, and then I'm going to insert another line graph. And this one I'm going to position it right underneath, and there's already a couple of things that I saw that I did not like. Okay, so right now we can say, okay, yeah, let's compare, but just to make it a little bit cleaner and easier to compare, I'm going to get rid of these numbers because the numbers are the same. Okay, even though this one goes to 18, this one goes to 17, we did have the same points. There were 15 points. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this so that way it doesn't confuse people. And this one, I would probably even renumber it is what I would do because this one kind of says that there's 17, but there really isn't 17. It's 15. So I would come back and redo those. But for now, actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave it for now. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is this one goes from 0 to 14, and then this one goes from 0 to 18. So I want it to be consistent so that way the lines visually are easier to compare. So I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to change this maximum number of 14 to 18 so that way it matches the one on the top. So now we have 0 to 18, 0 to 18. Okay, so that's easier to compare these data paths. Okay, so now this is looking good. The next thing though that we want to do is we want to indicate where are baseline and then where are the interventions. Okay, so we're going to draw the lines. So I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to insert a shape line. Okay, so the first line is going to be right here. And I'm going to bring it down to, I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm gonna actually make it a little bit thicker so that way it's easier to see. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so number 2. And then since it's highlighted, or selected, sorry, since it's selected, I'm gonna Control C to copy and then Control V to paste. And then, oops, it didn't. Do that again. Okay, there it is. Okay, so then I'm gonna put, oh, I actually threw that one in the back. I'm gonna click out of it instead of staying clicked in there. Okay, Control V, there it is. Okay, so here I'm gonna put this one right there, and then I'm gonna make it about the same height. I'm trying to match it up right there because I'm gonna Control V, another one, and then I'm just gonna connect these lines. And it's not perfect, but okay, just because I'm demonstrating it. So if I wanted to go back and make it look really nice, like for publishing, then I'd, close out that little space and of course change the colors, make them black instead of blue. Okay, so now this is baseline. So here visually I can say, okay, this was participant 1's data. This is participant 2's data. So it looks pretty similar, right? It's around 3, 4, 5, 6. This is participants 2. He's 4, 3, 2. Okay, so it's comparative. So then now when we implement the experiment or the intervention, okay, I'm going to just copy and do the same over here. Okay, we can do another lines, and these I can actually do something else so that way they stand out a little bit easier visually, okay, by doing something like that. So then here I can see, okay, intervention, these behaviors just jumped up. Okay, they increased, which is really good. And then I returned to baseline. Okay, so I'm gonna actually do this. Then make this one shorter. And this one a little bit longer. It gets messy. Okay, so I could spend time to make that look prettier, but this will give us a good idea. So then the only other thing I'd have to do is insert some like those text boxes, and so that way we know, okay, yeah, this is baseline, right? And then copy. So baseline, this is also baseline, and then this is intervention, right? And then I could, resize it and all that stuff. Okay, so here I can label it like that, make them smaller, make it look nice and neat, more clean. But now I can compare within subjects. So this is participant 1's data. I know this is baseline, intervention, return to baseline. Okay, so, and I've seen even people say like this is baseline 1, and then this is baseline 2, just so that way they can see, oh yeah, so this is a change, and this is intervention, and then a return to intervention, right? Something that indicates that. Or you can just do A, B, to kind of make it more clear and follow convention a little bit better. But the idea is that this phase line right here, everything to the left of it is all baseline. Okay, and then intervention, so everything between these two phase lines, this is all intervention, this one and this one, and then this is a return to baseline. Okay, and then there was no return to, or there was no intervention data collected on participant 2, but there was on participant 1. So here we can compare between subjects. Okay, this is convention, and again, this looks really messy and ugly, and I'd probably even go back and um, change those to black and change the numbering again, like I had mentioned earlier, just so that way there are 15 data points because we did collect 15 data points, not 17 like it says here, because somewhere these are blank, right? 10, 14. There's no data. They're just those are the empty slots. But anyways, that's how you would collect that type of data. Okay, so this is I'm going to insert this video into the lecture. Well, actually, you're watching the lecture anyway, so this video is in the lecture, but watch the first video, and then you'll understand what this is right here.